Today's recipe is specially for you. It is a Thai iced tea known as Thai Chai Yen. Let's begin. When you walk across Thailand, you will see everybody literally of every age group. They have this glass of lots of ice and this orange colored liquid which literally catches your eye. Now that, ladies and gentlemen, is nothing but the Thai iced tea. Now to replicate that in our home kitchens is very easy. All you need, for this primarily what you need is tea of very good quality. It needs to be strong and it also needs to have that wonderful aroma of tea, of chai. For this I am using Assam tea. By all means you can use Ceylon tea also because that is also strong. It has got a nice flavor. It also has tannins because when you literally have this like an iced tea, of course, it's milky. Some people add in coconut milk, some make it, of course, with dairy milk. But what's important is to have a little bit of tannin that hits the insides of your mouth because then you feel like literally having chai, which is cold. To begin with, let's make chai the way you and I normally make. Now, this, of course, is going to be a black tea. But when I say black tea, do not use your deep, dense black tea for something like this because you need that nice golden color for this. Now, I have actually found out that a lot of tea makers in Thailand add in orange color because orange color naturally extracted out of tea kind of gets a little difficult and eventually it's a visual game, right? It's a business for a lot of tea vendors. So color by default, nice orange color goes into the chai, which I'm also adding today, but by all means you can avoid it if you are sensitive to food grade colors. Now, you get a lot of these ready packets across Thailand. You can just pick one of those, add it in cold water and make your own tea. But the whole beauty of making this Thai tea at home is something different. Now, if you read the back of the pack, you will realize that it just says tea leaves, water, sugar, milk, and that's about it. But what I have found out as a chef is it also has a little bit of flavoring in this chai. But when I say flavor, it's very light. It just has that faint touch of a few herbs and spices, beginning with just a little piece of cinnamon. Along with this, a tiny piece of Star Anise. Now, if you have like a whole flower with you, I'm just taking a tiny piece like so, literally the size of maybe a grain of sugar. That goes in, and cardamom. Now, of course, this whole cardamom is going to be too much of a flavor. So I'm just peeling and taking a little piece of the outside skin and dropping it in. Now, this much flavor is more than enough. Now, if you also kind of start scratching the surface for recipes when you travel, this tea categorically calls for tamarind. Now, you would be surprised because while I say tamarind goes in this recipe, it is not sour, it is not tangy, it just has flavor of tamarind. Now, the tamarind that you and I are used to is sour, but Thai tamarind is sweet. It has got a nice sweet taste and aroma to it. Now, because it's kind of difficult to lay our hands on that kind of a tamarind, what I'm using is just the strings of tamarind because all we need is the flavor. If tamarind in this case also has a little bit of the outer skin, you'll have to look for it a little in the packet. Drop that in the tea as well. Now here, there are little few chips of the skin, the outer skin which has now become literally woody. I'm dropping that in. And that's about it when it comes to the flavor. Allow the water to now hit roll boil. And once that happens, I'm going to add in the Assam or Ceylon tea. Once this tea gets that beautiful color from the flavonoids that have now converted into anthocyanin, literally and scientifically, I'm going to add in the sugar. Now, sugar in this case is, of course, keeping the final product in mind because you need to understand that the moment anything becomes nice, cold and iced, the sweetness kind of drops. The moment you add in a dairy product, the sweetness again drops in. So at this stage, slightly more on the sugar because eventually you're going to balance it off with ice and milk. Now, along with this, though this color is kind of perfect because this is like an Indian chai, this is Assam, the color seems to be nice. But because I want to take it to the Thai standards, I'm of course going to add in orange color to this, which is completely optional. Of course, ensure that your color is of high grade, it is food grade, very, very, very importantly. Give this one quick stir And with this, of course, the flame. A total boiling of not more than 2 minutes, because the strength of the tea is just perfect when it is boiled for 2 minutes. While this tea is kind of steeping and settling down, we can of course start prepping for the other things. Now, what's important is to make this decoction in advance and keep it. Now in Thailand, what they do is they strain this straight on ice. What I'm going to do is I'm going to strain this separately and build this tea gradually in the glass. So let's do that. The next step is the simplest, and that is assembling all of this in a tall glass. What you need is lots of ice, and do not really think about the quantity of ice that goes in this, because this is like one of those ultimate summer beverages you can ever make in your own home kitchens. To this, let's add in the decoction of tea. And last but not the least, cold dairy milk. To make this tea extra creamy, the trick here is to add in some evaporated milk or condensed milk. Do not forget this. With this, ladies and gentlemen, Thai iced tea, Thai chai yen is done and ready. Make this summer. Thank me later. Bye for now.